Anderson Silva just beat Chavez Jr. in a boxing match using Kung Fu. One specific thing from Kung Fu, he did.
I didn't say anything.
But you're making a face like, this is what happens. Whenever some Kung Fu shows up in mainstream combat sports, all the Kung Fu weebs are like, oh, that was Bong style from such and such. I don't really know anything about Kung Fu, but I know that the things he was doing looks like Kung Fu. So this is Kung Fu for boxing. So Bong style, I think this is Bong style. Some Kung Fu guys already mad at me for, probably not even saying it right. But as I understand it, I've had like 2 Kung Fu lessons from Sergio, right? We didn't cover Bong style. As I understand it, it's kind of like this motion. And we use it for a lot of things. It's using the forearm. One time where I use it a lot is one of my favorite things to do is when he jabs, I will cover and parry like that. But if you did that to me, and you did that to me, you parried my jab, and you were going to send that right hand, I'm not going to get this hand back in the way. So one way that I deal with that is if someone does that to me, is I use that elbow. I understand that to be Bong Sao. If it's not Bong Sao, please correct me in the comments below, and then just enjoy the rest of this. I get it. I'm saying it's not Bong Sao. I thought Bong Sao was this sort of thing here. I think it's taught sometimes as a strike, but we're going to use it in a different context for boxing. When you're tagging somebody and their defense starts to get really good, they'll start moving their head and they're going to start trying to get aggressive and get closer. Pretend you're smaller than me, what you would do, right? And he'd be trying to do this and trying to jam me up. And in boxing, they can put the top of their head right here, right? And this limits what I can do and cover up, right? We get into this sort of situation. This happens a lot. And one of the things that Silva was doing is he was taking his forearm and shucking him like this. So much so that Chavez Jr. was complaining about the elbow.
Sucks.
It's not I'm not trying to hit him with my elbow, but I'm not trying to not hit him with my elbow, if that makes sense. So he gets to move in his head. He comes in tight. He doesn't want him to get punched anymore. And I'm going to bump just enough to add some strikes in. Now, there's some other Kung Fu-y type stuff he did. 2 of my favorite Kung Fu moves, I think they're Kung Fu. I just call them Kung Fu because they look like Kung Fu. I don't know if that's what Silva's really doing. But you move your head, bump, hit, woo! Move your head. Try to pin your head to my chest, right? You're trying to hem me up, right? Like this. Ouch, God almighty. No, come on, man. Come on, let's go. Let's go, come on. Look, now, let's do the rest of the demonstration then if it's going to be one of those. Let's go, come on. Come on, yeah, there you go. So we're like this, right? You just want to create enough space so that you can get your punch in. You don't have to push him and use arm muscles. We don't want to use arm muscles, right? We just want to throw it like it's a strike, like a boom, pop, like that. All right? He moves his head, move your head, boom, pop. Other way, boom, 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 boom. It works against their head. If they're covering up with their gloves and getting low, it works against their gloves. It even works against their body to create space to punch. The other cool thing he did, check this out. Sometimes a guy will stand in front of you and just cover up high and tight. Good tight guard. And he wants to look at you. Let's do this. Let's look so he can see. So this is what they'll do. And they think, because my jabs will get stuck there. But I'm going to Kung Fu this thing. And Silva used this a couple times. He used like a vertical jab. Boom! Right there. Split right through the guard. A vertical jab is fine barehanded. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It works even better in boxing. There's a bigger difference between a vertical jab and boxing because of the gloves. Like, that is a much narrower thing than that, or even that if I really turned it over. A lot of times, if he does like a guard like this, like you have your guard low, like this, it doesn't work as well. It doesn't work at all. But a lot of times people do like this, and they'll look at you through there. And especially if you've hurt them with like this kind of stuff, or you've been kind of not committing to the jab, but you can sort of like shorten up your jab range and tell him he's fine to do this and lull him into that false sense of security, and then you just turn this thing over and send it in. It works the first time you do it to somebody, it works almost every time. You'll be moving around and you just sort of let them think that this is all you can do, and then we sort of Kung Fu this thing out a little bit and send it in there. Boom. All right. And if you want to see a video on how to I call it lubing up the jab, I'll link that up there.
Yeah. You got to show them how to do it because you're not sweating.
There's a video. They can go watch the other video on
No,
how
it's
to do
because
it.
you weren't working hard today.
I didn't do shit today. That's true. At the last possible minute, I'm gonna go move your hands out of the way. I'm gonna do like a little. Watch this. Get all this. I'm gonna go. Like it's not just this. This is cool. Boom. But I'm gonna add some to it. And I think this is kung fu. Like that. Not just this. That's a fine punch. Add that extra little in there at the end and really, you know? The last kung fu-y thing he did, this is awesome. This was really cool. This is straight up. He didn't use his arm muscles to push him. It was another like framing type of forearm thing. He didn't use his arm muscles to frame him. He used his leg muscles, just as Sergio taught us. And he moved him, not like this, not like get away from me, right? He straight up, he was like, boom, boom, and he said, yeah. And just like, oh, you see that? I can move mountains like that, dude. I can move so much because I'm using my ass instead of trying to use my arms and hands. I go like this, huh? And I'm like, I'm gluting it to you, man. Oh, you're trying to big boy me in my video, man? Like that. Try to big boy me in my video. But Anderson Silva was using some vaguely kung fu-like things. What, you know what didn't work? What? When he tried to do head movement, he tried to do his Anderson Silva, I'm the spider in the Matrix thing. And that did not work. Yeah. So he abandoned that and started just brutalizing the guy with that kind of stuff there. But let me know what you think. I'm sure there's someone with a little more kung fu knowledge than me, definitely more kung fu knowledge than you, okay, that can tell us down there, was that kung fu?
You ready?
Can you do it? Do you know how to say it?
Yeah.
Do it. Say it.
Practice this. If you want more tips and tricks and how to get chicks, just
That's not at
follow
all.
us.
That's not at all.